Hello and welcome back to my Concertina sketchbook. This one is actually going to be watercolours, but first I'm sketching out some stuff. That was a big wasn't it? They're too dent to and ah, because I do these off the cuff when I do these videos, so they're very much. Well, I don't do the video. Well, I do the videos. do. Sorry. Grow up. Yeah, so this is a card file system. And as you know in the book, the nice and accurate prophecies of one Agnes Nutter, which is a legitimate name, I just want to point that out. Is mentioned in Good Omens and is basically it is the only accurate set of divinations in that particular universe. And so we have a whole set of descendants who are all designed to help with the end of the world and what have you. But this is more an exercise in me doing lots of rubbing out at the moment. They've got the eraser, lots of erasing. There is no Control Z when you're doing things by hand. It's very frustrating. Though to be fair, I sometimes eschew Control Z in favour of doing things the hard way. Not that I make life difficult for myself. I would never do such a thing. I'm a good girl. But yeah, hands. Yeah, I'm actually not too bad at doing hands, to be honest with you. I can draw my own hands like nobody's business. I probably draw pictures of hands as well, because did you see me there? I was just holding the my hand so I could have a vague idea of what the fingers look like. So I quite often, if you are drawing hands, use your own hands as a guide. That's a top tip. Number one top tip. And you'll see in a minute here I'm having trouble with the eyes because and I measured them out there. So basically what I tried to do was the gap between your eyes, proportionally speaking, should be approximately the same as the width of an eye. So if you use your thumb on your pencil or your paintbrush, you should get the right gap between your eyes just by measuring out the gap of one of the eyes you've drawn, then measuring that out to the gap between your eyes. So you've got basically you're from the outside corner of one eye to the outside corner of the other eye should be 3 eyes wide. If you want to do something realistic, obviously, if you're doing like comic books or you're doing something very stylized, it doesn't have to be like that at all. I mean, if you're Picasso, you can just chuck it straight out the window. The irony, of course, being that Picasso was a perfectly good painter of realism. But realism isn't everything, you know? Like, for example, I'm starting here with yellow to do this, and it's not really a great way of starting with the skin colour, but I just wanted to get something warm on there so that I've got a warm base for the skin tones that I'm doing. I mean, in the TV series, they made her very, very American. So I suppose I kind of wanted this one to look tanned, but because this is an anathema device, in case you're uncertain. And I was going to do just plain fingernails, but as you can see, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. I'm a bit uncertain about watercolours on a personal level. I mean, I can see they're very delicate and they're very nice and what have you, but I never quite get them as delicately as I'm sure they should be done. And yes, I have drawn this character with slightly different colour eyes to the canonic colour of her eyes. I'm not even sure there's particularly feminine features, but psh, I mean, none of us are 100% one thing or 100% another thing. She has green fingernails now, because why not have green fingernails? She's a witch, for God's sake. If she doesn't look like a witch, what's the point? And one of the points she makes is that she actually, like, in the book, this character does actually look witchified, but sort of modern witchy, so all healing auras and tales of the unexplained and that sort of thing. I mean, if you want an example, just go to Glastonbury. You'll find plenty of that, the kind of witches she's supposed to be. Although I think she also comes across as quite sensible in the thing, you know. She rides a bicycle, has a puncture repair kit, etc., etc. I don't know, I think this has come out okay. I mean, watercolour isn't my favourite medium. I don't know why I keep using it so much, to be honest with you, if it's not my favourite, but I suppose it's part of me that just gets grumpy and is like, I'm not going to let some paint get the better of me. So yeah, mess that bit up there on the fingers. Too much, too liquid. It doesn't matter. It works out in the end. I mean, it's just... The problem with watercolours is you do need to build up the colour, and I always try and go in with a full on colour straight off. That's just not how it works. It's not how it works, man. I mean, the whole point of watercolour is you build up the colour, so you get these like very delicate, almost see-through layers, like glazing, but not really. When I say glazing, I don't mean like it looks like a window. I mean glazing, like thin layers of clearish or transparent colour, translucent colour, if that's the right word. Trying to vaguely make it look like irises, and it's just, I don't think it really works personally, but it's for an impression of a thing rather than an actual thing, if that even makes sense. I mean, it is an actual thing, but it's also the impression of a thing. It is a painting, but it is I don't know what I'm talking about now. This does kind of look a bit sinister. I'm not sure how I feel about this image. It says what I want it to say, but I don't feel like craftsmanship wise it's quite the way I would have ideally wished it to be. There you go. I suppose this sort of it's kind of a monotonous image because it's got that sort of manila brown colour, a lot of that colour, like envelopes, you know, brown envelopes, that sort of colour. Me trying to take away some of the excess moisture and eating a banana at the same time. See, multitasking. Because sometimes when you're doing art you need snacks, and a banana is a good snack, full of potassium, good for your stomach, full of fibre and starches for long energies. This is as it slowly, I think I bumped the camera a couple of times there. I think at one point I'm doing this slightly out of camera shot. Oh, there's a watercolour tube, which I'm assuming is a white watercolour tube. Yeah, it looks like it. I do so much. It's this nasty green colour. Why do I do this to myself? so I just want to sort of overall. I want it to look old, but I don't want it to look too old. I want it to look as if it's been sort of handed down a bit, but I don't want it to look ancient. These. Hey, there we go. The camera drifts off sideways. You see my manky green water there, and a cable for something. One of the many things that I have on my desk. One of my lights or my headphones. Trying to give it a bit of shading there. Yeah, because the trick with watercolours is you start from the light colours and go to the dark colours, but I mean you can take up a certain amount of colour if you wet it and then go in with like a bit of kitchen towel or something, but just trying to add some shading, not very subtly there. Trying to fix it with a bit of white paint there. I'm not sure how well that works, but we get there in the end. Trying to make it look like she's flicking through this card file. At some point I recognise that I'm making them all the same colour so they actually don't look separate. Is me trying to... Am I trying to fix that? Not yet. I mean, I've obviously noticed it because I'm doing lines there. It's just there's no other reason to do that. It's like, oh no, it all looks the same. Come in with a couple of brighter colours. OMG. Also, there's quite a chunky one for that sort of... I mean, it's a nice brush, don't get me wrong, but... here we go. I'm trying to... You know that manky green coloured paper that you get? The sort of pale... I don't know if it's a pastel green or whether it's got a particular shade or name. But quite often you get it on... You know when you get subject dividers? For school and thing. I think I've also tried to put in some puce there, but it hasn't quite worked out. Oh, going for some highlights. Probably a bit OTT with the highlights there, but hey. Oh, coming in there with some thicker colours, just to sort out around those nails. To be fair, when I paint my nails, I always go off the edges, because I just get overexcited. That is a thumb. I want to point that out. That is just a thumb. It's just a thumb, Mum. Too much. Feels too white, you know. No one like this. Yep. Giving a bit more highlight. I mean, really, what I could have done was draw like almost like windows in the eyes there, but I think that's enough. Yeah, because you're so close, you'd see the actual thickness of the eyelid. This is where I'm trying to add some headings on the cards, on the card files, but of course you wouldn't see them if you were on the opposite side of someone rifling through. So I'm pretending because it's a box file, you see, in my head. I'm pretending that she's marked them on both sides so that she can look at it from either direction and it'll be fine. It's like, tell yourself what you want, George. But yeah. Oh, come on, man. Get it back. Notice that you're going off the frickin'... you can't see what you're doing. We can't see. What are you doing? You're rubbing out lines. That's great. Now show us the picture properly. I don't want having a go as if it's another person. It's totally me. It's like, oh look, I've noticed. What an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I mean, I am a little bit, but not that guy. You know how it is. Trying to do a bit of detail. OMG. Yeah, this was like finishing up, just trying to crisp up some lines. I mean, don't be frightened when you're doing watercolours or whatever. Don't be frightened to use other media to make things look the way you want. Hey, look. Rains of fish. Stocks. Cold War. Question mark. Basically, the predictions are in no particular order. And then it doesn't say what they're about. You just have to work out. You got the apocalypse and the end of the world there. 19th century, 20th century. World War II to Korea. Yay! Oh, looks like it's nearly done. Very exciting. I don't know what that was. I think that just says worms. I'm not entirely sure. There we go. And there's some close-ups, and I will see you next time. Take care.